Okay, hopefully y'all can hear me well because I feel like my background is going to be loud today. But I am here. I'm like 8 minutes late, but I'm here. I'm definitely here. And I'm just going to check my sound real quick. All right, cool. So thank you for coming back to another podcast. First and foremost, I haven't counted how many I did because I like if you heard me say this about myself before, I'm like an all or nothing type of person. So as soon as I decided that I was about to do this, it was just I'm just about to do it. So I didn't like check in like, oh, I'm day whatever, because who got time to do that? So anyway, y'all know I'm about to start off by kind of talking about my week. It's been slightly interesting. I feel like some things happened this week. Last time we was here was a Wednesday. So since Wednesday, soccer practices. My children had their first game today, which was really interesting because Jaylani's team, well, the other team she was supposed to face, did not even show up. There's that. I guess I'm supposed to like introduce myself first. My name is Tayla, and hold on. I knew I was forgetting some. Hold on. Let me just do this real quick, but I could talk at the same time. So, my name is Tayla, and I am a doula, and I'm also a student midwife, but I'm also a mom of two beautiful babies. I learn stuff from them literally every single day. And I'm about to tell y'all what I learned today from them or just from our day in general. But besides that, this is a podcast that I do every Wednesday and Saturday evenings. It's going to be at 8 p.m. all the time. This is the best time for me to go live. So, yes. And then I also host a natural childbirth education class every Friday, which you can find at birthsistertaylor.com. But we can talk about that at the end because basically, if you come to enough podcasts, you will get the class. So, okay, so I forgot to text my group. If you're not already in the group, you need to get in the group because those are usually the people that I tell first. But today I'm like, I'm forgetting something. I kept saying, I'm forgetting something. What am I forgetting? What am I forgetting? But then I thought about it really just now. So if you're not in the group, text the group. It's 312-847-3722. Text womb, like the womb, and you'll get the link. So yeah. Let me just text them real quick. Because what am I doing here? Oh, and also tonight is my first night actually adding Facebook, which I really don't know how I feel about that yet. So we'll see. But I still haven't changed the name on that Facebook page yet. So if I can't change that name on that Facebook page, it's getting deleted because as y'all heard me say before, I'm done with the whole tailor-made natural thing. So if I can't change the name, then I got to delete it. But if I can change the name, then great. I will keep the page and keep it moving. And maybe if you're on Facebook and you prefer to be over there, then watch me over there. But for the most part, YouTube gets clips every day and podcasts twice a week. So okay, I'm not even going to tell them the topic because they need to just come. But tonight's topic is going to be really good. I'm excited about it because I feel like moms look to other people for like wisdom, like especially if they never had a baby before or if they've never had a natural childbirth before. So it's kind of like it's not like never having a baby before, but it's different when you've had like cesareans than you going for a natural childbirth. Like the labor process looks different because they always pull that failure to progress. They always pull that, which basically takes away a part of what we're about to be talking about tonight. So tonight's topic is Labor duties for moms. I don't know why I put that, but yeah, I'm sure you can see the topic in the title too. It's about support for moms in every part of labor. So, there's different stages of labor. We're finna get into all that. Okay. So, anywho, my week, pretty uneventful. The only thing that I really was really at the top of my mind when I thought about okay, did nothing really happen for you this week. One thing that I did realize is that when you're away from somebody for a while, any amount of time, it doesn't have to be a long time, it could be any amount of time. When you're away from somebody, you forget why you don't like them. I feel so petty for saying that, but I'm so serious. You'll be away from this person, and you'll be thinking, actually, I seen a post. I wish I would have saved it, but I seen a post randomly. I don't even remember if it was TikTok or Instagram. It wasn't somebody I was following, but it was just because you miss somebody, I think it was Instagram. I should have saved it. It was just because you miss somebody doesn't mean y'all need to reconnect. If that's not the truth, you will literally be away from them for a certain amount of time, whatever amount of time it is, and you'll be thinking in your head, dang, we used to have some good time. We used to joke, we used to laugh, blah, blah, blah. And then you get around them, it's damn, now I remember why I don't want to be around your ass. I had that moment today. I had that moment twice today. Yeah, I had that moment twice today. So with two different people, I had that moment. Damn, now I remember why I be blocking people. I be blocking people. But anyway, yeah, so don't let that time that goes by, or really just those thoughts of past memories and stuff, make you think that there need to be some future memories. Can it be future memories? If they're memories, ain't that always past? I don't know. But y'all know what I'm saying. Don't let that be a thing that makes you want to be oh, let me see what they talking about. No, because they're not talking about nothing. No, they're not talking about nothing. So anyway, I'm not even going to get into details about how annoyed I was today. But part of the reason I was annoyed is because it's the time of month where I'm not supposed to be socializing like that. So I noticed, that's another thing I noticed, when I actually take the time to listen to my body and follow the lead of my body, which is really important for laboring moms and pregnant moms in general. But when I take the time to actually follow the lead of what my body is telling me to do, different results. When I try to fight against it and I can still get this done, and I'm dead tired, you're not gonna get a happy person, a happy mom, and all of that. So especially take that advice from me, because yeah. So anyway, besides that, everything else went pretty smoothly. I'm happy to say that I am off work tomorrow, and I don't have nothing planned until Tuesday, I think. So I'm about to take a really good 2 days to push it all the way down. I only plan on reading. And another thing I wanted to mention, I was watching a podcast. This will be the last thing we can get into the topic. But I was watching a podcast from Tariq and Braden from Power. If you're a Power fan, I was watching their podcast. They have a podcast together, and I don't know, I love the energy that they're bringing to the show, but they brought on the writer that originally created Power and the Power universe itself. And I just found out that she's not writing for them anymore. Weird. Is the show going to take a turn? I don't know, but I don't even want to get into that. So I just found out that she's not doing that anymore. But when they brought her on, they was just talking about some scenes in the show, and I was like, should I go back and watch that? There's a part of me that's yes, go back and watch it. You haven't seen it since it was live on TV. I never went back to rewatch the first book of Power. Raising Kanan, I rewatched that season a lot of times, but the first book of Power, I didn't never rewatch it. It's 6 seasons, 60 episodes. And I'm part of me is yeah, do it. But then the other part of me is girl, 60 hours. That's 60 hours is actually how much is required of me to read for my midwifery class. So I guess I should put that into a perspective. Like, when do you have time to do that? Are you gonna start staying up late at night? Like, whatever. It sounds dangerous, but I kind of want to do it. I ain't gonna lie. So anyway, on to the topic of tonight's conversation. Tonight we're going to talk about what to do during every single stage of labor. These are labor duties for the mom, because I feel like on some of the past shows we talked about, like, oh, what should the dad be doing? I guess really as far as advocating for the mom we did, but we didn't really talk about dad doulas. I feel like that should be a whole nother show. I'm gonna write that down, because that's something that I offer to moms that is like, okay, if you can't afford to grab a doula, I can teach the dad what to do for the mom while she's in labor. Like, that's your doula. That's your doula. That could be your doula. I ain't gonna say that should be, but that could be your doula, because it is nice to have that extra person there so that dad can kind of go with the flow and like cater to the mom, but at the same time not be on a job, because his baby is about to be born too. But if you can't get a doula, like, hey, have those dads ready. But anyway, dad doulas is gonna be a whole nother topic. We'll come back and talk about that, because I feel like that's needed for dad information. But tonight we're going to talk about the mom's duties. What should the moms be doing while they're in labor? This is really important because, like I said, like, if you never actually got to go into labor on your own, you might not know what the stage is even looking like. So let's talk about the stages. Do I want to share my slides? Let me see how cute they are. This is a slide from my class. How to kill the fear of giving birth, which honestly is a really good class. I'm pretty proud of myself. I'm not going to share that slide. I'm going to show y'all right now, and I'm going to tell y'all why I'm not sharing it. I'm not holding out or nothing. Like, it's a free class anyway, but I'm not going to share the slide because it's really not what we talking about. Like, cervical dilation has 3 parts. We're going to actually talk about the 3 parts, what you should be doing during each part of cervical dilation. So the 3 parts of cervical dilation is early labor, active labor, and transition. And then we're also going to talk about the second stage, which is pushing and birthing. And that's about it. So I guess this slide I don't really need it right now. So anyway, yeah. So first of all, before we get started, I do have a disclaimer. Y'all know I'll be having disclaimers. The disclaimer for tonight is that labor is not about thoughts. Like, it's not about being in your thoughts. It's not about having a checklist. Like, y'all know I'll be having my checklist for the podcast, so I don't get off topic. But it's not a time to be in your thoughts. It's not a time for critical thinking. It's not a time for having my list ready, my birth plan, remembering all these things. It's not a time for that. So when I tell you this now, it's so that you can get an idea, but none of these things have to be set in stone of exactly how it's going to play out. And I want to do this, and, in each order. Like, it does not have to go like that. Labor is about going with the flow, listening to your body, which is what we just talked about. As women, we should be doing that all the time, because our bodies are constantly going through changes. This is in a nonstop cycle every single month. So you should always be listening to your body, but especially during labor. So if you're watching right now, feel free to drop some in the comment section. Questions are always invited. I love answering questions. But yeah, feel free to drop some in the comment section. So that's the disclaimer. I feel like I talk about that enough, where it's like, I don't want moms like thinking during labor, like, okay, now let me do this. That's why the doula is there, or the dad has this information, so that way they can direct you during. And then I tell moms beforehand, so that way when we're in the moment of labor and I'm directing you to do something, you're not like, why is this girl bothering me? What do you want? Why should I do that? Blah, blah, blah. Like, you have the information beforehand, so that way in labor, all you have to do is just do. I'm just going to move you here to here. Just do it. And because you already know that we had this conversation before and you trust your doula, or you trust the dad that's telling you to do it, and you're just going to do it. It's not going to involve any thinking, questioning, and all of that stuff. So that's just a little disclaimer. Please do not like take these notes and then bring it with you in labor. Like, okay, next I'm supposed to, no. But okay, so we're going to start with the first phase of the first stage of labor. I feel like I always get that jumbled up. But the first stage of labor has 3 phases. So the first phase of the first stage is early labor. Early labor, it can happen for a long time. A long time. I just had a friend recently, and I'm so happy she even got to experience this, because now she can help other moms. She's a doula too. And I'm so happy she even got to experience this, because I always be just pounding y'all about these cervical checks, how much I cannot stand cervical checks. I literally cannot stand cervical checks. That's another thing I forgot to tell y'all about my week. I cannot stand cervical checks. That don't really have nothing to do with my week, but I realized that it's like at a higher intensity for me now, especially with the friend I'm gonna tell you about. So she was literally in labor for like 10 days, off and on, not the whole time. Like when people be telling y'all like, oh girl, I was in labor for 72 hours. They're not talking about active labor. They're talking about early labor. Early labor, you could be in labor. You could be in early labor for however long. Could be for however long. And there's really not a precise measurement of when we could tell that you switch over. Like there's some signs that we see, the outside looking in. There's some signs that you'll be able to tell yourself, like, okay, this is not the same as before. And then there's also getting a cervical check to tell. So let's talk about the little cervical checks real quick, so I could just rant. Cervical checks. Okay, so dilation. Early labor is considered everything from 0 centimeters to 6 centimeters. So if you went to the hospital before with your first baby, your second baby, whatever, and you got a check and they was like, you 5 centimeters, but you feel like I'm in labor. They didn't admit you. They're not going to admit you to an actual room. They're going to keep checking you, maybe offer you something to boost up to speed along the labor or something, however they be saying in these nice ways that make it seem like it's productive for you, and it's not. Inducing your labor is not productive for you. But anyway, you wasn't in labor. You were still in early labor. Now, early labor can still be uncomfortable. It can still be painful. It can still be long. It can still be short. It could still be for one day and not the next day. So like my friend, I think she did like 2 days in a row, then it stopped for a day. Then she did like 2 more days in a row, then it stopped for a day. Then she actually went to get checked, and guess what? She was 5 centimeters. She was 5 centimeters and had her baby next week. The next week. Like, this is my whole point with the cervical checks. You think you finna go in, get a number, and be like, all right, cool, I'm having my baby, woo, woo. There's no telling. Only the baby knows. Only your body knows, because your body's going through a process during active labor, during labor in general, but your body's going through a process. The dilation don't tell you nothing. But usually once you get to 6, I was wondering what that noise is. Usually once you get to 6, from what they've realized from checking so many women, is that ain't no turning back from that 6. 4, it could stop. Failure to progress. 5, it could stop. Failure to progress. Like before the active labor actually started at 4 centimeters. I can't remember exactly what year they switched it to 6 centimeters, but man, a lot of cesareans coming from that 4. Mom being 4 centimeters, admitted into the birthing room. Failure to progress is thrown on them, because 2 hours later, they're still 4. 2 hours after that, they still 4, or they still 5. So now it's failure to progress. So before they changed that 4 to a 6, a lot of cesareans came from that. A lot of cesareans that could have been avoided. So I guess that's like kind of like a win for us, but we still going crazy with the cesareans right now. So that's not the only problem, but it's cervical checks is part of the problem. It's definitely part of the problem in general. Okay. So yeah, I wanted to mention that she was in labor. Like, it's not this, but she was in early labor for 10 days. She was in active labor. I don't know. I can't remember the exact hours, but I know the day active labor started is the day she had her baby. But those 10 days before, up and down, contractions starting, they stopping, they active, they not. Baby just wasn't ready then. So obviously she was just so good. So with going with the flow and listening to her body, so she didn't rush anything. So everything turned out great. She had a great baby and all of those things. So yeah. Anyway, you know what? I was going somewhere with the cervical checks. But I know I wanted to tell you about the dilation for early labor, cervical checks. I feel like it's something else before I get into this. I don't know. But early labor is for resting. That's what I always tell my moms. That's the time for you to get your rest, because active labor, you're not going to be able to rest. So what I've noticed is that when moms start feeling those first bit of contractions and it's early labor, right? They immediately be like, okay, let me get on my birthing ball. Let me do this position. Let me blah, blah, blah. Let me squat down. Let me do this. And you done tired yourself out. When early labor could last for days. It could last for 2 weeks if it want to. You done just tired yourself out for no reason. It could start up and then just stop. And then you feel like you did something wrong or you didn't do enough. So early labor is for resting. You'll know when it's active labor because you won't be able to rest anymore. You won't be able to. So I always suggest resting, comfy pillows, actually in the bed, eating fruits. I like fruits because if your labor is going to continue to progress all in that same day, the fruit gives you water and good sugars. So you're hydrated and your energy levels are up. Your body has energy to work off of. And that's another thing that we miss out on, is that if your body is already drained when labor is about to start, it's going to stop. Our bodies just are smart. They just know what to do. Like my friend even said, she was like, yeah, I haven't had a real meal since, that started. And she was like, I think I need some good protein. I'm like, yeah, that's definitely smart, because you got to think about it. Protein is what's helping the muscles. That's the whole part of labor, your uterus muscles. That's everything. That's doing everything, basically. Your uterus muscles are doing everything. So if you're not feeding them and giving back what you're about to put out, then you're just going to stall your own labor. So early labor is for eating good, hydrating yourself, resting. Another thing I like to offer is to watch something like your favorite comedy show or movie, a love movie, whatever that will help build that oxytocin, because oxytocin is obviously, what we need in labor. So those are good things for early labor. Okay. Then after that, you won't be able to rest anymore. You won't be able to stay in the bed. You won't be able to take naps anymore. Active labor is what makes you stand up. It's what makes you be like, okay, this is different. Call my doula, whatever. You get in an active mode, and it's just that. Active labor means be active. So what you want to do in active labor is all the positions that your doula taught you. You want to get on your birthing ball. You want to sit on the toilet for a little bit. You want to sit backwards on a chair. I really like that one. You want to be in your bed. What's that one position? It's not cat cow. It's child's pose. You could do that in your bed. That's really nice. If you have a peanut ball, you could lay sideways in your bed with a peanut ball or just a bunch of pillows. The goal for the positions is helping your pelvis do what it's already doing. So this is two things that your pelvis is doing during labor. There's ligaments that are going to relax, that help your bones shift and move. So the oxytocin is going to help your ligaments actually relax. We need that. That's first and foremost. Those pelvic bones are not going to move if those ligaments are not relaxed. They're just not. They're not supposed to, because then, they're just not supposed to move. So during labor, your ligaments relax. That helps your pelvic bones be able to shift. And we want to just help that process. So we want to help it by setting the mood for ourselves. That's going to produce that oxytocin. And then getting in these different positions so that as our ligaments are relaxing, because we can't make them relax. We can help boost that hormone oxytocin, but we can't make them relax. Positions are not going to make your ligaments relax. So you have to be in a safe, peaceful environment, which is why I always recommend, if you're having a hospital birth, you're waiting at home to the last minute. That's where you feel safe. That's where you feel the most comfortable. That's where all your goodies is at. Like, everything you need is right there. So I was saying something. I don't know. I just thought about something, but then I forgot. Okay. But yeah, you're going to boost that oxytocin and then get in different positions to get those pelvic bones to shift. So the positions, like sitting on the toilet, is really good because the pressure, like literally your bum is on the toilet, baby's head, the pressure and that gravity is helping our cervix open. That's a really good position for active labor, being on the toilet. Then if you could even add to it, you can get a stepping stool or anything that you can put your leg up on and do one leg at a time. So now this leg is opening up that side of our pelvic bones. Then we're going to switch for a couple of contractions, and then you switch. And then you can also do that in the bed standing up. If you have enough energy, put one leg up on the bed and just like let somebody help support you there in that moment. But you never want to just like, this is why like yoga and exercises, stretching is really important in labor, because you never want to get too stiff where it's to the point where now I'm in labor, in active labor, and I can't move. You show up to the hospital in active labor, I'm going to tell you right now, they're going to treat you like you can't move. They're going to treat you like that. So if you're coming in there very dependent on all the things I can't do, and the husband is there looking like, I just don't know, they're going to treat you like you don't know. So you definitely don't want that. You want to stay as mobile as possible during pregnancy and during labor. Okay, so cool. I feel like we're moving through this a little bit fast because y'all ain't said 2 words for me probably. And that happened the last night too. I mean, not the last night, last show, Wednesday. So, hold on one second. Okay, so anyway. Anywho, that's active labor, being active. Okay, then you have the transition phase. This is the last phase of the first stage of labor. It's literally right before pushing. Transition is 8. No. Yes, because I didn't say what active labor was. Active labor is 6 to 8 centimeters. Transition is 8 to 10. So it's literally that last home stretch of what you're about to experience, right? Transition, be aware that you are not going to want to have a natural birth at this time. You're not going to. You wanted to your whole pregnancy, your whole labor, all the way up until transition. I bear witness. With James, epidural. I was high off the epidural. It did not matter, whatever. I'm taking naps. Labor too easy because I'm high off of epidural. Jaylani, transition came. I told them, I'll take that cesarean. Didn't you offer me a C-section earlier? You could just give me that. Just give me that. Don't worry about it. Just cut me. Just take her out. Take her out. She got to get out now. I literally told my midwife, I'm not doing this no more. I don't want a natural birth. It's too late for the epidural. Cut me open. Cut me. Like, you could take the baby out. I don't mind. That was transition. I didn't know it at that time. But yeah, transition is when you're going to say, I can't do this. I thought I could, but I can't do this. And now I just want the fastest route, the easiest route out. So really, it's nothing for me to tell you what to do during this phase. It's really me just telling you that it's going to come. It's telling you that it's going to come, because if you know it's going to come, as soon as you have that first thought, you might take the opposite road and actually not say those thoughts out loud. Because you're going to have those thoughts. But if you say them out loud, I mean, it ain't nothing to like regret later. Like, it's literally to the point where it's too late. Unless the hospital that you at is trash, then they're going to be like, okay, yeah, come on to the operation room. So yeah, you might want to actually be weird at saying stuff like that. I had a midwife that knew she's in transition. She went how many hours on Pitocin? They started me at 7 a.m. About 6 o'clock, I was like, I'm good. Cut her out. Cut me open. Take her. So I went through damn, I can't remember now. What's that, about 10 and a half hours of Pitocin? That's a long time to be on a synthetic drug that makes your uterus contract. It's not the same as normal labor. So she knew if you just went through all of those hours wanting this natural birth, your whole pregnancy, you wanted this natural birth. My midwife knew, okay, this is transition. This is not a girl that just came in. She just started Pitocin. It was too much. She couldn't take it. And now she's asking for pain relief, blah, blah, blah. She knew that, okay, this is transition. She was like, okay, Taylor, let's just check you. And then she told me to turn around. She was like, can you just turn around for me? And I'm like, turn around. Well, like, now that I'm looking back on it, I'm thinking like, turn around for you to check me? Like, that didn't make sense. But that was never her plan. Now I know that was never her plan. As soon as I turned around on all fours like this, like on the bed, I had my baby. It was literally just that last little movement that I needed to help Jaylani with the next contraction. I had my baby, and I'll never forget it. Like, they never told me when to push. That's one thing I got on the list to talk about next. They never told me when to push because they never checked me this whole time. So they never knew really how far dilated I was. I never got checked the entire time. And I was such in a peaceful state because of all the practicing I did before. They couldn't really tell what stage of labor I was in during labor either, because I literally just was in bed with my headphones on, just handling my contractions. And yeah, when that next contraction came after I turned over, you could not keep Jaylani inside of me. Like, I wasn't trying to push. I don't even remember like, oh, I want it to be over, let me start pushing. Like, no, it was never that. It was like, I don't have a choice. She's coming out. She's literally coming out. So yeah, that was transition. Just be prepared for those type of thoughts, which is normal. But what helps with those type of thoughts is distractions. So anytime I notice that moms are in that part of their labor, okay, do you want to go to the bathroom first? If they ask for epidural and I knew you want a natural labor, I know you in transition mode, I know the baby is literally this close to being here. Okay, let's just go to the bathroom first and then I'll get the nurse for you. Line. Because by the time you go to the bathroom and get back to the bed, I just know your baby gonna be here. It's quick after that. So those last couple centimeters don't need much. They do need movement and gravity. And then, yeah, your baby will be here. So then, okay, the last thing I wanted to talk about is the second stage of labor, which is birthing and pushing. And really the only thing I have for you for that part is do not get coached on when to push unless you have an epidural. Then they're reading the monitor and telling you to push with your contractions. But don't let anyone tell you when to push. Don't. I don't like when I see sometimes that doctors are just ready for your labor to be over. I've literally seen this where they're like, you're 9.5. You could just start pushing to 10. You could push your way to 10 centimeters. Why would you tell a mom that? Why? And I feel like I be talking to y'all enough about choosing these trash doctors. That's really what it is. I can't continue to be upset with them. I can't. I be upset with the lack of information that the mom is coming into the situation with, which is the whole reason why I continue to do these shows. Like, 2 viewers live, I'm cool with that. I know that people are gonna catch the replay and see it somewhere else and whatever else. Like, the information is so valuable though, because they literally are harming us due to our own ignorance. Let them be ignorant by themselves, is basically what I'm trying to say. Let them be ignorant by themselves. We're going to come in equipped with information and not let anybody tell us when to push. So I think I've talked about this here before. 10 centimeters does not mean that it's time to push. Your body will tell you when it's time to push. And if you know how the uterus works, then you know that the uterus is doing all the pushing for you. Don't waste your energy in labor because it's very exhausting to push. Jelani came out in one contraction. One, all at once. Boop. I've seen moms head the first contraction, body the second contraction. Coming out. Your uterus is ejecting your baby. Like when they be making jokes like, oh, an eviction notice for my baby or whatever, your uterus literally has that eviction notice. Like, you gotta go. And it's going to push the baby out, regardless of what you try to do. If you don't try to push, if you try to squeeze tight and hold the baby in longer, you're not gonna have a choice. Your uterus is going to eject your baby. So you don't ever have to be coached on when or how to push. If you chose the entire time during this second stage of labor to not push, guess what? Your baby's still going to be born. Like, your baby's still going to be birthed. You don't have a choice. That's just how our uterus works. There's 2 sets of muscles. They're pushing the baby out one way or another. You don't have a choice. So you don't let anybody coach you on when to push. If they do, just be like, okay, like, can you come back? Have the dads. This is where they come in. Can you give her a moment? I'll let you know when she's ready. Like, 10 centimeters does not mean it's time. Should I go get my thing? Hold on, let me see if I could just find on Google real quick. Station in labor. Let me see if I can find a quick photo. Here we go, right here. What's a good one though? Oh, I kind of like this one. Let me show you all of them. I kind of like this one though. Bam, look at that. Okay, so this is the one I was thinking of showing, but then I really like this one, the live image. So some doctors go off -4. If you hear -4, you know, whoa, you're nowhere near, buddy. The ischial spine. This is a good picture too. Let's talk about them all. That's the 0 mark. So the ischial spines, like, I could show you with my bones, but that's what they're using to measure where your baby is in the pelvis. If they're past the ischial spines, then they on the positive end. You know, they're closer to being born. If they nowhere near it, they up here, and it's nowhere near time to push. Okay, what's another good one? Come on, I want to see what this is looking like. Okay, that's like -3. Yeah, I was gonna say that's a lie. Let's see. Okay, so that 0 mark is right here. Not time to push. That +1 is right here. Not time to push. You could be 10 centimeters and baby can still be -3 all the way up here. All the way up here. Look at this. Is such a nice picture. Look at that placenta. I love this photo. OMG. I love this photo. And you want to know something else that I found out recently too? I found out that if moms have short umbilical cords, well, not the mom, but the baby, really. If the baby has a short umbilical cord, then labor takes a little bit longer because our bodies are so smart. They're going to have that placenta make its way down the uterus wall before baby can be born. Because of the placenta is usually up here at the top of the uterus wall. That's where it plants itself when babies, the fertilized egg first reaches the uterus. It implants into the wall, and then the placenta and the baby separate. First, they were one. So if the cord is short and we push the baby out, that might rip that placenta off the wall, cause hemorrhaging, all kind of things. Placenta can abrupt and just, that's very, very bad. So the body is so smart that it knows we have this much room in between baby and placenta. So let's move that placenta down the uterus wall to us closer, and baby can go and get out, and then placenta right behind. It's amazing how these bodies work. Oh, dang, I'm not even sharing what I thought I was sharing. Hold on. That just blew me. I'm gonna make it bigger. Oh, I stopped. Let's do entire screen this time, just in case I leave. All right, cool. This is what I blew up though. Like, okay. This picture. So the placenta is always planted up here in the beginning of pregnancy. But if the cord is short, it will move down this wall here. Oh, I love this picture. That is such a... Anyway. But anywho, this is station. This is what we talk about in the class as well. 10 centimeters does not mean that it's time to start pushing. If you are getting checked, which obviously I'm not going to recommend that y'all get checked, because you don't have to get all this information. You don't have to know how many centimeters am I, what's my baby station, the effacement, blah, blah, blah. You don't have to know that, because best believe your baby's on a time frame. They cannot stay in our wombs forever, and your body is going to eject the baby. So the information is useful. And then at the same time, you don't need all that. You need to just be in the moment and help your body do what it already knows how to do. And you can do that by doing those things that we talked about. So also, last thing, with that second stage of labor, the pushing and birthing, right? So different positions you could push and birth in. All fours is going to be my favorite. Squatting with support, like maybe somebody holding you behind, or one of the birthing stools you can just sit on, is a great position. Laying on your back is very, very counterproductive. But if it feels good to you, do it. So like I said in the disclaimer in the beginning, like in that moment, you're going to do what feels good to you. Let's just go back to the picture real quick and see if I can make this thing sideways one time. This is the side view, but look at the curve of the body. Look at the natural curve of the mom's body. Can I do that? No, hold on. Don't they want me to buy this picture? Because I see purchase right here. What y'all? Is it a poster or something? Why they want you to purchase this for $50? That is crazy. I hope that's not the case. Let me see if I could just turn this sideways and just... Did I stop sharing? Hold on. Share screen. Oh, here it is right here. Rotate. Look at that. Ooh. Okay, so this is not a good angle. All right, bam. This is mom laying down. This is a good visual of mom actually laying down. Look at the natural curve of her body. So baby's gonna go down and up to come out. Or let's flip her this way. If she was on all fours, it literally comes out with the curve. Baby is coming out with the curve, being pushed out like this. Like, that is so crazy to me. So yeah, laying down does nothing for nobody. Up and down is also good. But laying down, the only person that helps when you're laying down like this to go down and then go up, the only person you're helping is the doctor. So they can get a good visual and get you in one position, opening your legs or whatever. Like, that's a beautiful picture. I love that picture. I'm going to share that on my page. I don't know. But anyway, that's all I have for y'all tonight. I'm about to go back and get into bed. It's been a long day. So, anywho, besides that, I'll be back on Wednesday with another podcast. If you want to get notifications about when I go live in a podcast, just text me. Okay, my phone number is at the bottom. It's 312-847-3722. Okay, 312-847-3722. 312-847-3722. Okay, you want to text me, womb, podcast, whatever you want to text me some questions, whatever. I'm going to respond. So that's it. I'll be back Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I will see y'all here.